Page Loose Leaf returns. We're playing my favorite Pauper deck, Cycle Storm, the deck that uses Reaping the Graves and Songs of the Damned. Let's go check it out. Let's begin by thanking Leon Gross Stoltenberg, Bayer Stoltenberg. Leon recently got married and re-hyphenated his last name. Congratulations to you, Leon, truly. And Leon wanted to see their favorite Magic deck, Cycle Storm, so that's exactly what we're playing today, with one small change. I've actually been working on this deck with Leon ever since that first video debuted, and you can find that one in the card above. By the way, that video hit my most viewed videos playlist, which is just awesome. In the entire year of 2025, I never had a video hit that playlist. In 2026, we added a new one, which just makes me really happy. So if you haven't checked it out, go do so. And since that video, I've changed a couple cards, but not a whole lot. I've put the fourth copy of Rowan's Grim Search back in the deck, and I've cut a Cycler. It's likely the Monstrous Carabid, but some numbers changed there, and I'll get to that in a moment. So why did I add Rowan's Grim Search back in? The deck gained a lot of consistency from Page Loose Leaf, and that is really nice. But Rowan's Grim Search helps you find additional copies of Page Loose Leaf, and if you don't find that secondary copy, it just does nothing. So playing more copies of Rowan's Grim Search means that you're going to hit that second copy more often, which is what I'm looking to do. So a little bit of added consistency over the 26th Cycler, and I think that's just fine. So I swapped my Cyclers. I am now playing 2 copies of Horror of the Broken Lands, and previously I was playing 4 copies of Monstrous Carabid, but now I'm playing 3 since I added that Rowan's Grim Search back in. So why did I swap these? In that last video, I had a number of games where I could not cycle off of Great Furnace. And while the beatdown mode of Horror of the Broken Lands is nice, I would have just preferred the ability to cycle. And since then, I've actually done a number of coaching sessions or tutoring sessions, whatever you would like to call them, on Cycle Storm, because a lot of people are interested in the deck now, thanks to Page Loose Leaf. And in those sessions, I found the same thing. Beatdown is nice with that Horror of the Broken Lands, but the ability to cycle consistently matters a little bit more. I do know some people are playing 4 Monstrous Carabid and 1 Horror of the Broken Lands, leaving you 1 copy of Horror of the Broken Lands to do the trick that allows you to beat Prismatic Strands. And if you're interested in that trick, just go search the channel. I have like 2 or 3 videos that feature it. So yeah, I think you want at least 2 of these. Beatdown plus Prismatic Strands things. And then we'll have 3 Monstrous Carabid to allow smooth cycling off of Great Furnace. The sideboard is exactly the same. It features Chitin Gravestalker, Pyroblast, Fairy Macabre, Siege Smash for blowing up artifacts like Nile Spellbomb, for example. And then Duress, this is for something like Thraben Charm. It comes in there, or decks with Weather the Storm. Speaking of Weather the Storm, that's what Blood Celebrant is for. A common question here is, why is this for Weather the Storm? Well, it allows you to play 4 copies of Draenus Stinger and then cycle away. And that's really all you need. When you have 4 copies of Draenus Stinger in play, you can often deal like 100 to 120 damage. So Blood Celebrant makes that happen. And then the Swamp is for cleansing Wildfire. That's the deck list. That's what we're playing today. Thank you to Leon for the donation deck. I hope you all enjoy the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. But for now, I will see you in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like the epicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via the epicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the play. Let's go. Pauper Cycle Storm. Keep. Great Furnace pass. They play an island. End step will cycle Draenith Healer. Reaping the Graves, not bad. Play Vault of Whispers, pass back. I love drawing the Street Wraith. They cast a Brainstorm. In their upkeep, they cast a Thought Scour, getting rid of 2 copies of Deem Inferior. Very good for them. And then they play an island and a Preordain. That's 5 instants and or sorceries in the graveyard for them. We'll cycle a Draenith Healer. Cycle another Healer. Page Loose Leaf. Not a terrible draw. Let's see what we can draw into here. Cycle Street Wraith, Cycle Street Wraith, Great Furnace. I don't think I'm ready to try to win yet, so I'll just play a page and pass the turn. They play land number 3. Vapor Snag, sure. Into Cryptic Serpent. 5 cards in their hand will cycle Barrenmoor. Cabal Ritual. A little bit short of that being Cabal Ritual with Threshold. So we'll cycle a Stinger. I think we're supposed to try to go for it here. Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual. We'll play Rowan's Grim Search. Sacrifice Great Furnace. Take the Cabal Ritual and another Rowan's Grim Search. Play the Cabal Ritual. We'll float a red. Play the Rowan's Grim Search. Sacrifice the Great Furnace. I don't want any of this. All of that can go to the graveyard. A pair of Dark Rituals. So we've seen almost half of our deck, but no Songs of the Damned. I'll cycle a Stinger. Ooh. Alright, we're getting a little risky here. A third Rowan's Grim Search. Bargain the Vault of Whispers. We finally find Songs of the Damned. Play Songs of the Damned for 11. And now Reaping the Graves, which returns 11 things. Target monster is Carabid, Street Wraith, Street Wraith, Street Wraith, and then everything else. If I have 12 mana, I could play 2 Draenei Stingers. I go down to 8 mana floating, and then I have 3 Street Wraiths, so I believe that this is already lethal. We'll make a red, play a Stinger, and then a second copy of Draenei Stinger, and now we just keep cycling. Okay. So more mana at this point would be nice, but I believe we already have everything we need. They'll go to 12, cycle the monstrous Carabid. They're at 10. We'll play Lotus Petal, cycle an Imposing Vantasaur. They'll go down to 8. We'll cycle a Street Wraith. They'll go to 6. Cycle a Street Wraith. They go to 4. Cycle Street Wraith. They'll go to 2. We'll play Great Furnace. Cycle Monstrous Carabid, and that'll get the job done. Nice. Alright. Host board. I like to bring in Chitin Gravestalker and Pyroblast. By the way, I have a sideboard guide over at theepicstorm.com/shop. If you're interested in all of my sideboarding plans, go check that out. And here, I don't love Rowan's Grim Search in the matchup, but I'm not sure if you're supposed to get rid of all of them. My sideboard guide that's currently available only has 3 Rowan's Grim Search because I haven't updated it since I've made this swap. But it will be updated by the time that this video is available to you. So what I'm trying to decide right now is, do I actually want to get rid of all of the Rowans, or do I want to leave a couple? That is the question. I can definitely get rid of at least 1 or 2 Cabal Rituals. The thing is that Rowan's Grim Search is really bad versus Dispel and Spell Pierce. It's just a big liability. So I think I want to get rid of all of them. And then we'll get rid of a Cabal Ritual and 1 Monstrous Carabid. We'll try this. Great hand. Keep. The only thing we want are creatures to go in the graveyard. They have a turn 1 Preordain. Street Wraith is a wonderful draw. They have land number 2. And step will cycle the Draenei Stinger. 4 of the Broken Lands. Let's cycle the Street Wraith to see if we can hit land number 2 here. We don't. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Would I rather play the Barrenmoor or a Petal? I don't think I care if Petal gets countered. So we'll play Lotus Petal. People are crazy. So I could just slam a Gravestalker here. They have 4 cards. Let's do it. Play Chitin Gravestalker. Pass. They have no play. We will attack. They take 5 down to 15. We'll cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. Alright, against better judgment, I'm going to play the Barrenmoor. They Mental Note, gets rid of a Cryptic Serpent, and Vapor Snag. Okay. Land number 3. 4 cards in their hand. Let's cycle a Stinger. Cycle the Barrenmoor. I think I actually misplayed this turn. I probably should have played the Chitin Gravestalker first. I was thinking about wanting to find red mana for backup, but then I realized I was playing into Force Spike, and I should have just played it to begin with. Now they Preordain. 2 on the bottom. They have 5 cards in their hand. Preordain. Okay. So if they tap this mana, theoretically I could go for a larger turn. But instead they play another island. Let's try the Chitin Gravestalker. Love it. Dark Ritual. Let's cycle the Healer. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Songs of the Damned. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. I don't think I want to play the page. We'll play Reaping the Graves. Target Street Wraith, Stinger, Imposing Vantasaur, and Chitin Gravestalker. Cycle the Street Wraith, 4 mana floating. Guess I'll cycle a dinosaur here. And another one. Cycle another Imposing Vantasaur. Replay the Chitin Gravestalker. And then we have to pass the turn and discard. I think it's actually Page Loose Leaf. It just doesn't do anything in this spot. They play a Cryptic Serpent. We will cycle. They have 3 cards in their hand. Lotus Petal, let's play it. Cycle a Healer. Great Furnace. So I don't know if I really want to play in a Spell Pierce. I think I'm going to take a turn off here. And step a Brainstorm. And now a Thought Scour. They have 3 cards. I feel like this is a good spot to Pyroblast. Let's kill the Cryptic Serpent. They have land number 5. Lorien Revealed. Why don't you meet my friend Pyroblast? Now we'll go to my turn. Great Furnace. I think we just jammed double Stinger here. Here we go. Beat down. Go, go, go. You're at 10. They have a Tolarian Terror. We draw a Chitin Gravestalker. We'll play it. Go to combat. I guess we'll just swing with 1 Gravestalker here. They block. And we'll pass. They Blue Elemental Blast. Sure. And then let's Reaping the Graves. Target Chitin Gravestalker. And the opponent concedes the match. You'll love to see it. We are now 1-0 in this Pauper League. Packs.com is the new way to open your favorite cards. It's a site where you open digital packs of trading cards like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and One Piece cards, and have the cards you open mailed quickly and securely to you. With a wide range of packs to choose from, such as the latest Magic sets, Kaladesh Inventions, or even Beta. I'm going to open a Beta pack. What's great about Packs.com is you can see all of the cards and their odds of being opened in each pack. Now it's time to open one and see what I get. Come on, Black Lotus! If you don't like what you opened, you could sell it back instantly for more packs, or sell it and pick a specific card from the marketplace over at packs.com/market. If you want to check out packs.com, make sure to click the link in the description of this video and use code STORM5 when making a purchase for 5% extra on your first purchase. Round number 2 on the play. Let's see if we can win another match. We'll try this one. Play the Great Furnace and pass the turn. Versus Tower into Expedition Map. Okay, so the Tron decks usually are not particularly good matchups for me. The most popular deck plays Crop Rotation into Bojuka Bog main deck, which is just a nightmare. I think we'll just play the Page Loose Leaf here. Pass the turn. They have versus Mine. We draw another Barrenmore. We will pass. I did think about playing Barrenmore last turn, and then not playing the Page, but this way if I drew Cyclers, I could cycle deeper. It just didn't happen. They have a power plant and do Bonder's Ornament. And now they have Crop Rotation available if they want it. We'll play another Great Furnace and pass. They draw a card with the Bonder's Ornament. They have an Island, Prophetic Prism. So they're Bluetron. I don't know if Bluetron is currently playing Crop Rotation into Bog in the main deck. The more popular version of Tron currently is not blue-based. Like, it has blue in it, but it's not a base blue deck. I will attempt a Rowan's Grim Search here. I suppose we'll take the Reaping the Graves. We only have 2 creatures in the graveyard. We'll cycle Street Wraith, Songs of the Damned. I think we play Barrenmore and just pass. They Pulse of Marasa back the Mole Drifter. Mole Drifter's back. I'm going to try Rowan's Grim Search in this spot. We'll sacrifice Great Furnace. We'll take Songs of the Damned and Cabal Ritual. I guess I'll try to cycle here. Like, I don't have protection for Reaping anyway, so I think it makes sense to just, like, if they want a Crop Rotation into Bog here, you got me. And this is our turn to try to win. I'll begin with Dark Ritual. I could beat a Bojuka Bog in this spot. Let's attempt a Cabal Ritual. We'll float a red, play Rowan's Grim Search, sacrifice Great Furnace, and they prohibit this. A little surprised by that, but okay. Cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. We'll play Dark Ritual. Songs of the Damned. And let's try a Reaping the Graves. They have the Crop Rotation for Bojuka Bog, but they're doing it at the wrong time, so we're actually going to get to punish them here. This is not when you're supposed to do this. You should make me target with all of them, but our opponent did not, and now I get to show you why that's a bad play. So we'll do Street Wraith, Stinger, Healer, Vantasaur, and that's everything. Alright, so Bojuka Bog resolves. Now this trigger is still on the stack. We're allowed to cycle. which means that when the trigger resolves, I can return things that are in my graveyard. So we're going to stock that graveyard right up. Cycle the healer, and now we'll Songs of the Damned for 7. Cycle the healer again. They're going to cycle their Remote Isle. Sure. We will cycle Horror of the Broken Lands, cycle Street Wraith, Cabal Ritual, and I think we'll allow this to resolve. Street Wraith, Street Wraith, Street Wraith, and then the others. And I think I'm actually going to just bring everything back here, which might seem crazy because in my videos I tend to preach cycling in response to each copy, but in this spot, I think I would like to play out a healer so that way I can actually gain life and use more of these effects later. And then we'll play one stinger, I think. And the opponent's going to just concede. Okay, that's fine with me. So we're going to take game number 1. Because this match is so slow, I actually end up boarding out all of the Lotus Petals, and I bring in the Blood Celebrant. And then I want 2 copies of Duress, 4 Crop Rotation. I'd like a couple copies of Pyroblast, and then all 4 copies of Horror of the Broken Lands. And you could take out a couple copies of Rowan's Grim Search, maybe a copy of Cabal Ritual, and then a few copies of Monstrous Carabid. This seems reasonable. Keep. They play Turmoil Urza's Mine, Vault of Whispers, pass. They have Urza's Power Plant into, I don't even know what this is. Visionary's Dance, so he's 7 mana sorcery, create 2 3/3 red and blue elementals with flying. You can discard this card, and Sleight of Hand. Okay. Oh, it puts the card to the graveyard. That's pretty good. It's better than Sleight of Hand, actually. Okay. We'll play Vault of Whispers and Page Loose Leaf. Pass the turn. They have another Urza's Mine. Let's begin by cycling a Draenith Healer. 2 creatures in the graveyard. We'll cycle Monstrous Carabid. Do I want to burn the Songs of the Damned to try to get the Chitin Gravestalker into play right now? But they've stumbled. They don't have colored mana, so I think the answer is yes. Or is that just greedy? I think it's the right play. I'm going to do it. Cycle a Stinger. Cycle Stinger. So I can go Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, then both Horror of the Broken Lands and Chitin Gravestalker. That's the line. Chitin Gravestalker, Horror of the Broken Lands. Your turn. They play another Urza's Mine. Bonder's Ornament. We will go to combat. Swing Batter. We'll cycle Draenith Stinger. Cycle a healer. That's 13 damage. Ooh, Page. So fun fact, Page discard, which triggers the Horror of the Broken Lands. That's 15 damage. Alright, so you'll be at 5. We'll play another copy of Chitin Gravestalker. They cast an Impulse. They now have Tron, but they only have 1 colored mana. They play a Muldrifter. Oh, they didn't even make it as a blocker. So they're just dead on board. Okay. Get in there. I mean, I thought this was a Storm deck. We're winning a lot by attacking. And we are now 2-0.
Building a new deck usually means getting hit with a dozen different shipping fees from a dozen different sellers. It adds up fast, and honestly, it's the worst part of buying cards. That's why I switched to Card Trader Zero. You shop their global marketplace, but instead of having every seller ship to you, they ship to Card Trader's hub first. Card Trader then packs everything into a single shipment for you, and it saves a small fortune on shipping fees. This package from Card Trader just arrived. These are 4 Dark Rituals that came from 4 different sellers, but they all arrived in 1 envelope, and every card was quality checked by the Card Trader team before it hit my door. Check out the link in the description to try Card Trader Zero's optimizer for yourself. Stop paying for multiple shipments and get just 1.
Match number 3, we're on the draw. I'm going to keep this hand. The last time I faced this person, I remember because they denied me, I believe, a 5-0 and they were on mono red. So we'll see if they're on the same today. Looks like Jund Wildfires. Okay. We'll play Vault of Whispers and pass. They have a Twisted Landscape. They Cleansing Wildfires themselves. Sure. I'll cycle a Monstrous Carabid. We draw into Lotus Petal. Cycle the Stinger. See if I can hit a land here. I do. But I think I'm actually still going to play the Barrenmoor, because it will allow me to Rowan's Grim Search next turn. They play a Lembas and a Bridge into Nile Spellbomb. Okay. Another Vault of Whispers. We will play it and pass. Regretting playing out the Barrenmoor after my last few draws, but I didn't know I was going to draw into more lands. They play a Writhing Chrysalis, sure. And step, I'm going to Rowan's Grim Search. They could use the Nile Spellbomb. I kind of doubt that they're going to. And this was not particularly good. It's only 1 creature. I was hoping for more. We do have Threshold, but I need double Reaping the Graves in order to beat this Spell Bomb. I have 8 cards in hand, so I'll play Lotus Petal, and then we can pass. Kind of wild. My next card will be a third of the deck, and we've only seen 3 creatures. I'm sorry, 4 creatures. There's one in my hand. They cast a Fanatical Offering, and now they sacrifice an Eldrazi Spawn token for another Lembas. They have another land, and a Krark Clan Shaman. Okay. Refurbish Familiar. I think I'd like to cycle a little bit in response to this. Cycle the Barrenmoor. Cycle Monstrous Carabid. Cycle Stinger. And now I'm going to let this resolve. We can get rid of a Lotus Petal. They swing. I go to 14. I really need another Reaping the Graves. They have 7 damage on board. I'm going to just pass here. They use the map token on the Refurbished Familiar and they reveal a forest. Eviscerator's Insight. Okay. So they're drawing up to 5 cards. Another Krark Clan Shaman. Sure. I am at 7. End step, we will cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. There we go. Cycle the Healer. A third Reaping the Graves. Let's go. It's time to try to win. We'll cycle the Street Wraith down to 5. Dark Ritual. Play Cabal Ritual. Another copy of Cabal Ritual. Songs of the Damned. And now a Reaping the Graves. Storm is 5, so this is not going to return everyone. Alright, I've selected 5. Will they respond with Denial Spellbomb? No is the answer. Interesting. So they think it's bait? A little stunned by that. They're at 20. I think it would be a mistake to try to win right now. So I'll cycle a Monstrous Carabid. Imposing Vantasaur. There's another Songs, that's good. Just keep cycling. Magic Online is getting a little laggy, and I'm not loving that right now. This is a match that takes a lot of time, so I don't like losing seconds. We'll cycle a Stinger, and another Draina Stinger. Let's try Page Loose Leaf, and then discarding Page Loose Leaf to Page Loose Leaf. I'd like to see mana here. Dark Ritual is technically mana, we'll play it. And then I'm going to Songs of the Damned, which might seem a little bit weird, but I don't want to keep on casting spells and getting low on mana if they decide to Denial Spellbomb in response. And they let it go. I'll cycle a Drannith Healer, use another Page Loose Leaf, and now we will Reaping the Graves. Storm is 9. Is this when you're going to pull the trigger? I mean, you have to use your Denial Spellbomb at some point. They're adding 2 black. If they're thinking that they can cast down a Page Loose Leaf, that is not the case. It is legendary. And they have now realized that, and they have untapped their lands. And they seem to be letting it go. Why aren't you using your Nile Spellbomb? This is wild. We'll play Songs of the Damned. I think they're afraid to use it. Or that, or they don't know what Nile Spellbomb does, and it's in their deck. Draina Stinger. Play another one, I guess. They're now going to play their cast down that they tried to play on the Page Loose Leaf, but that's not allowed. And we're going to attempt to kill them in response. So we're going to let one of those abilities resolve. And now we're going to respond to this one. Actually, should I just let this go? I don't see any benefit to keeping this on the stack, so let's do it. I guess I could use my Page Loose Leaf, so that would be a reason to do it. But I could always bring those back. I don't know if I actually care about that. Alright, 19 minutes on the clock. Let's just get this game over with. We'll cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Very odd that they just refused to use Nile Spellbomb this entire game. Like, I think I would have won anyway, but the fact that they just don't know when to use it or don't want to use it, I'm not sure. Seems very strange. We draw another Rowan's Grim Search. Play Dark Ritual. Cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Great Furnace that allows me to play another Stinger at some point. We'll cycle Street Wraith down to 3 life. We'll play another Lotus Petal. And now we will play Reaping the Graves. Oh, now you know how to use it. Alright, so now we'll cast the other Reaping the Graves. Okay, bringing all of our friends home. So I could cycle in response to this Storm trigger. I'm not going to. I just want to end this game. And now the Nile Spellbomb. And now we'll play another copy of Draina Stinger. And let's get to cycling. 2 damage at a time now. 16 minutes left on my clock still. That should be plenty of time for 2 games. My opponent's at 15 minutes. Alright, we did it. We took game number 1. I like to bring in the Siege Smashes for those Nile Spellbombs. The Swamp for Cleansing Wildfire, and Blood Celebrant. When it goes out, 4 copies of Lotus Petal. This is not a fast matchup. In very, very slow matchups, I think it's fine to board out Lotus Petal. uh, Leon Bayer Stoltenberg. That's going to take some getting used to. We're working on a deck list that he managed to 5-0 with, but neither one of us really believe in it. It's like, well, what if you just didn't play Lotus Petal? What if you played that swamp in your main deck, the Blood Celebrant, and then you can add in 2 more cards, like another Cycler and the 4th Cabal Ritual. And it's a nice theory because Leon data tracks. And what Leon's data shows is that with every mulligan you take, your win percentage drops roughly 50%. So by adding in a 13th land, you're reducing mulligans where you open up no land hands. And then Lotus Petal is not really good until you're already winning. So our theory was, well, what if we just don't play it? And Leon did manage to 5-0. I played it in 3 leagues and it was never good, if I'm being honest. So I was not super excited about that. I think I'll keep this. You don't want the swamp in your hand because you want it for cleansing wildfire, but oh well. And what I found when playing the no Lotus Petal build is when you need to go fast, you just can't. Your deck is like a turn 4 deck at best, and there's a lot of matchups where I just lost to my opponents with slower decks outracing me. Like I lost to Elves twice, and I couldn't help but think, what am I doing? Like I've slowed my deck down to the point where Elves is beating me. And it's not like Elves had disruption. They were just like, here's a large creature, attack. And I think that's just not what we want to be doing. All right, so I'm punished for having the swamp in my hand. Goodbye, Great Furnace. We'll play the swamp, pass. And now they have a duress. This takes exactly the Rowan's Grim Search. They play a mountain and 2 Lembas. We'll cycle Imposing Vantasaur, play the Vault of Whispers, pass the turn. Now they have Nile Spellbomb. This is a really good open. Cleansing Wildfire, Duress, Spellbomb. End step, we'll cycle the Barrenmoor. And the Draneth Healer. Looking for another land. We find a Barrenmoor. I suppose we'll play it. Pass the turn. They use the Lembas. So they'll go up to 23. They have land number 5. 3 cards in their hand. Writhing Chrysalis. Sure. 2 cards remain. End step, I'll cycle Street Wraith. I go to 18. I'll go to 16, cycle the other Street Wraith, cycle the Barrenmoor. And I'm refusing to tap out of that last land because I don't want to leave myself open to Nile Spellbomb. And I think I'll just pass here. And except they play Toxin Analysis on one of the Eldrazi spawns, sure. They sacrifice an Eldrazi spawn. I imagine they're going to draw off the clue token here. They now have a 4/5. They take that draw. Cleansing Wildfire. I'll float a black. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. We draw into Page Loose Leaf. They swing for 4. I'll go to 12. And a Krark Clan Shaman. End step, I'll cycle the Draneth Healer. This will be the 7th creature in the graveyard. The 3rd Songs of the Damned. Let's go. I mean, I probably need to find another Reaping the Graves, but I think this is our go turn. Songs of the Damned. And now I will attempt a Rowan's Grim Search. Hitting Siege Smash would also be very good here. And we did. And we hit the Reaping the Grave, so it's everything I wanted. We'll play Blood Celebrant. We'll make a red. We'll split second, destroy the Nile Spellbomb. Let's see if they draw a card. They do. We'll play Songs of the Damned. They're going to fetch with Twisted Landscape, sure. And they're going to deal 1 to each creature with flying. Without flying. I guess I'll just make some mana here. I'll make a white and a red. Sure. You're making my Songs of the Damned make more mana too. And now we'll play another Songs of the Damned. Play Page Loose Leaf for Storm. And now Reaping the Graves for 8. Let's bring everyone home. I'm going to end up playing out a Draneth Healer here. I'm at 7. I have double Street Wraith. Triple Street Wraith, my apologies. And I want to be able to use all of these Street Wraiths and then Reaping the Graves and then use them all again. So playing out the Healer, just, it's what you want to be doing. Okay, life total up to 10. I only have 1 Songs of the Damned to win the game with, so we need to make it count. Just keep cycling. Another Siege Smash. We'll cycle Monstrous Care. Actually, let's play the Stinger. They're at 23. I probably need that little bit of chip damage. So they'll go to 22. Another Page. I love that. Okay. We'll use the Page here. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Reaping the Graves. This time I will return the Blood Celebrant. Page Loose Leaf. Street Wraith. Street Wraith. Street Wraith. And then the rest. And our opponent just concedes the match instead, and we are now 3-0. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 4, we're on the draw, and unfortunately, I believe we're supposed to mulligan this hand. I mean, I love double Songs of the Damned, I love the Rowan's Grim Search, but without a land to cycle, I think this hand is a trap. This is better, and we'll put the Lotus Petal on the bottom of the deck. Basic Island into Ponder. We'll play Great Furnace, pass. In their upkeep, they cycle a Lorien Revealed. They play the Island. We'll cycle Drannith Healer. Wealth of Whispers, which means I can cycle this Barrenmore now. We'll pass. A Mental Note gets rid of a counter spell. I like that. They play land number 3. Cryptic Serpent, and they're just tapping out, so I'm incentivized to try to win here, but I don't know if I'm ready. 3 creatures in the graveyard. Cycle the Street Wraith. That's a Reaping the Graves. Alright, Dark Ritual. Let's see it. Cycle Monstrous Carabid. No. Ooh. Am I supposed to jam? I don't know if I'm going to have a better window is my only fear. I think we're supposed to. Songs of the Damned. And now we'll Rowan's Grim Search. Sacrifice the Great Furnace. Double Cabal Ritual. I love it. Play Cabal Ritual. And then another. Cycle. Keep cycling. Hopefully hitting more mana. Dark Ritual's beautiful. Cycle the Healer. Don't really need another Reaping the Graves here. I'll take another Dark Ritual. Cycle the Barrenmore, play the Great Furnace. I think we're supposed to actually use the red here because I'm just so low on resources where I can't afford to leave a red floating. We'll select the Street Wraith first. Alright, cycle. Another Reaping the Graves, okay. How about a Songs of the Damned? Can we find one of those? Cycle. Okay. Cabal Ritual keeps us alive for a little bit. Cycle a Healer. So Rowan's Grim Search digs 6 deep for songs. I think I'm supposed to cast it. Please, deck. Ding dong. We hit. I don't need a 3rd Reaping the Graves here. Technically the 4th. So I'm going to bend that. And then we'll play Songs of the Damned for 13. Cycle. Cycle. Cycle again. I'm at 10. Okay. Let's play a Rowan's Grim Search. Bargain. I will need Lotus Petals to win, but I don't think I'm at that point yet. So I'm going to get rid of everything here. Plus, that's only the first Lotus Petal. We drew another Lotus Petal. We'll play it. Cycle Monstrous Carabid. Cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. Dark Ritual. And now we'll Reaping the Graves again. Street Wraith. Street Wraith. Okay, we're back down to the point of needing to hit some mana here. Dark Ritual. Cycle Street Wraith down to 4. There's Songs of the Damned. Okay, I think we've got it. So now I can bring everyone home. We've seen 2 of 4 Lotus Petals. We'll play Stinger and start to win. And the opponent concedes. Thank you. Off to game number 2. Once again, Chitin Gravestalkers and Pyroblast. 2 copies of Cabal Ritual. 2 Monstrous maybe. No, I'm just going to do the 4 Rowans. I'm sure people are not going to like that I'm boarding out Rowan's Grim Search, but like, it's not good in the matchup. They have Dispel, Spell Pierce, Force Spike. The card is a liability. And I know that you need it to be able to full combo, but we have Page Loose Leaf now, which helps with Horror of the Broken Lands, helps with Chitin Gravestalker. I think it's just where we want to be. Game 2, this hand is amazing. We will keep. I'd prefer if the Barrymore was like a Vault of Whispers, but it's a solid hand. They have a turn 1 Delver of Secrets. We'll play Barrymore and pass. They transform, revealing Thought Scour. They play their land, they attack. Ouch. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Play Lotus Petal. See if this gets countered. They brainstorm in response. Blue players love literally counterspelling anything. It is their favorite thing. Lotus Petal. Okay, that resolves. And I think I'm going to just pass here. You could try to like put the Gravestalker into play. I just don't think it's a good idea. They get rid of Counterspell. They put a Counterspell on top to Thought Scour it away. That is bold. I'm at 14. Another Reaping the Graves. Let's cycle Stinger. Play Lotus Petal. And now they Spell Pierce. Sure. We will pass the turn. Another Mental Note. Gets rid of Spell Pierce and Tolarian Terror. That's good for me. They have 4 cards in their hand. This attack will bring me down to 12. I'm sorry, 11. Cryptic Serpent. I think we let it go. Great Furnace. We'll cycle the Street Wraith down to 9. Tough spot here. Only 2 cards in their hand. I'll cycle the Vantasaur. Play Songs of the Damned to see if they try to counter. They Dispel. They have 1 card. I think I'm going to counter here. And then we'll play Songs. Play the Gravestalker. Reaping. I'm worried about my life total. I'm at 9, and I'm returning a Street Wraith that I probably need to cycle. And this Delver Secrets having Flying is not ideal. So I'll go to 7. Okay, drawing the other Pyroblast is good. Can I draw a Pyroblast while they're tapped out? Or a Lotus Petal while they're tapped out. Cycle the Vantasaur. Cycle the Healer. And we'll pass. They swing, I go to 4. Larian Terror. We'll play Great Furnace. They have 1 card in hand. We'll play another Chitin Gravestalker. And then we'll pass to them, see if they do anything on the end step. They don't. Upkeep, we'll Pyroblast. Kill the Delver Secrets. They drew another. Okay. I'm definitely backpedaling here. We'll cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Another Pyroblast. Okay. I'm just going to pass here. Delver triggers. Lorien revealed. I don't see any harm in letting them draw that. I'll play the 3rd Pyroblast and kill the Delver. They cycle the Lorien revealed. They still have 1 card in their hand that they have not played. We'll cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Cycle the Stinger. Drew a Lotus Petal. So that could theoretically play a healer. And then we could start getting above 4 life. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Reaping the Graves for 4. Target a Stinger. Healer. Vantasaur. Vantasaur. We'll play Drannith Healer. Play a Stinger. Cycle a Vantasaur. So this puts me up to 5. And then cycling this puts me up to 6. Interesting. Okay. I think I pass here. I was considering attacking, but if I swing with 1 and then they draw like Sleep of the Dead or something, like it just blows me out. But I think I'm starting to turn the corner. Songs of the Damned. We'll play Horror of the Broken Lands. So you might be saying, why did you tap the Great Furnace, which is a fair question. And the honest answer is that I'm an idiot. Like, I was going to cycle the Monstrous Carabid in my main phase and just deal damage and keep cycling. And then I realized, well, I can attack if I leave the Horror back and then have the ability to cycle. So I changed my mind mid-turn. All right, so they're willing to take 5 here. This will knock them down to 13. They play a land. Lorien revealed. Yep. End step will cycle the Monstrous Carabid. Triggers. I think I'll keep that one in hand for now. Let's draw. Interesting. Let's attack. They're at 12. They have to block the Horror, or else they're dead. We'll cycle Drain a Stinger. Triggers. We'll draw. Cycle the Chitin Gravestalker. Actually, should I just let it go? So they're at 11. They would go to 10. This would put them to 1. Yeah, let's just cycle. Why not? I don't think 1 is very different. Like, then playing it out. Like, it's effectively the same. And I did not draw another cycler to end it. So they go to 1. We'll play my land. Pass. And we have still not lost a game. We are 4-0, 8-0, heading into match number 5. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. For the trophy, match number 5, we're on the draw. I will keep. They play a Forest into Cerulean Caretaker. Is this Walls? We'll play Vault of Whispers. Pass. Could also be Spy. They did Mulligan. Overgrown Battlement. I feel like this is Walls. Jasper a Sentinel. Yeah, this is definitely Walls. We'll cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. I hope I'm not dead. Great Furnace. I actually don't mind an untapped land. Okay, let's see what they have this turn. Lead the Stampede, Drift of Phantasm, Cerulean Caretaker, Jasper a Sentinel, Irachi Leaf Caller. So the Leaf Caller will allow them to win without an Axe being Guardian. So I am likely dead next turn. There's the Leaf Caller and a Findhorn Elves. So they have 3 cards in hand. One of them is Jasper Sentinel. Another is Drift of Phantasms. So I am likely dead. So the Overgrown Battlement taps are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they have enough to kill me. We'll cycle Imposing Vantasaur. We need some mana. Cycle Monstrous Carabid. Being on the draw was not ideal. Well, we have more mana, but now I need something to do. We'll play Great Furnace. Cycle Adrena's Stinger. I will play Songs of the Dam for 4. Cycle Baron Moor. Rowan's Grim Search. That's a decent hit. Let's cast it. And I'd like to mill over 4 creatures and then draw into Reaping the Graves. Rowan's Grim Search. I suppose I'll take Dark Ritual Reaping the Graves. Play the Dark Ritual. I'm worried because I have Songs of the Damned, but I need them to get me off the ground here. And if I use these to get me off the ground, then I only have 1 left to win with. So that's a concern of mine here. We'll cycle Drannith Healer, cycle the Street Wraith, another Rowan's Grim Search. Okay, that's good. Sacrifice the Great Furnace, and we hit another Songs, and Page Loose Leaf. This is bananas. Okay. We'll play Songs for 10. But I think we're okay now. I believe we've won. Page Loose Leaf, into Cabal Ritual, Lotus Petal, Songs of the Damned, Reaping the Graves, Storm 11, Page Loose Leaf, Street Wraith, and then everything else. So we'll return Page, discard. Okay, I'm going to return everyone because I think we're just ready to win the game. So this was a game where I was very fortunate. We had all 4 copies of Songs of the Damned in the top 50% of the deck. That is not probable, but it's what I needed in order to win this game. So I'll take it. Cycle. Play the Dark Ritual. Cycle the Horror of the Broken Lands. They go to 17. Play another Dark Ritual. Cycle Monstrous Carabid. Auto yield to that ability. Another Reaping the Graves. They're at 15. Page, let's use that. Another Cabal Ritual. Imposing Vantasaur. They go to 14. A 4th Reaping the Graves. Cycle another copy of Imposing Vantasaur. Cycle the Drannith Healer. They're at 12. Cycle the Baron Moor. They go to 10. There's a Lotus Petal. Drannith Stinger. Cycle the Drannith Stinger. So now they'll be at 8. Play Cabal Ritual. Let's Rowan's Grim Search because I can. Sacrifice the Vault of Whispers. I just want cyclers here. We'll take Rowan's Grim Search and Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. Rowan's Grim Search just to draw 2, I guess. I could bargain the Page. We'll cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Cycle Monstrous Carabid. Play the Lotus Petal. Reaping the Graves. Alright, so we didn't get to see the end of game number 1 because Magic Online crashed. But my opponent just decided to concede the game, which was very nice of them. And now we are resubmitting the same configuration for game number 2. I don't think you're supposed to sideboard. Game 2 on the draw. Well, this is a hand. Keep. The opponent with a mulligan to 5. I actually really enjoy combo walls. You might not know this, but it is 100% true. I have the deck roughly 65 to 70% Japanese foil signed. The deck is completely Japanese foil, but I'm just working on the signatures at this point. I really, really enjoy playing the deck. It's a lot of fun. That said, the handful of times I've uploaded it to the channel, people just have not watched. So it's not really something I'm incentivized to play on the channel, but it's something I actually really enjoy playing. Alright, so they've played a bunch of stuff. They have 1 card left in their hand. They did not attack, which is a little bit odd. We'll cycle Horror of the Broken Lands. Draw Reaping the Graves, and another Reaping the Graves. We'll play Page Loose Leaf. Pass the turn. Overgrown Battlement. 1 card remains. We draw Rowan's Grim Search. Let's use Page Loose Leaf to grab a spell. Ball Ritual. We'll do it again. Another Rowan's Grim Search. So they're threatening lethal next turn. I should try to do something. We'll cycle Street Wraith. That's 4 creatures. We draw a Drannith Stinger. I really needed like a Dark Ritual or something this turn. So I could go Cabal Ritual into Reaping the Graves and double Page, or I can Rowan's Grim Search, but I'd have to tap out. So then you're really hoping to hit a number of things. I think you're actually supposed to just go Cabal Ritual, Reaping the Graves. This feels bad. All right. Oh, it's only for 2. That's really bad. Okay. Should I just Rowan's Grim Search? Yeah, let's Rowan's Grim Search. I don't know. Sacrifice the Great Furnace. We'll take Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal. I don't need that Reaping the Graves. So we'll play the Lotus Petal, cast Dark Ritual. Reaping the Graves now for 5. Page Loose Leaf, Street Wraith. Alright, Page. It's another Rowan's Grim Search. Page. It hits Dark Ritual. Street Wraith will cycle. It's Cabal Ritual. And now Horde of the Broken Lands returns. We'll play Dark Ritual, Cabal Ritual, and Rowan's Grim Search. Bargain away the Vault of Whispers. Get rid of all of these. I'm just like running on fumes. We'll play Great Furnace. So I could Reaping the Graves right now, and that would give me 2 more page activations, plus a Street Wraith to hit Songs of the Damned. But I'm also trying to keep in mind that I only have 1 more Reaping the Graves after this. So it really needs to win. Statistically speaking, this Rowan's Grim Search should find a Songs of the Damned. So I'm going to choose to believe in the heart of the cards here. Sacrifice. Ding dong. And Songs only make 6 mana. It's not even a ton. I just like haven't found creatures in the top half of my deck. Cycle. Cycle again. Just keep cycling. We'll play Cabal Ritual. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. Cycle Imposing Vantasaur. I'll go to 8, cycle Street Wraith. Play Lotus Petal. Cycle the Barrenmoor. Cycle Drannith Healer. We'll use the Page Loose Leaf. That's all 4. Dark Ritual, Songs of the Damned, and Reaping the Graves. We have done it. A perfect 5-0. We'll return Page Loose Leaf, Page Loose Leaf, Page Loose Leaf. And our opponent concedes. We did it. 5-0, 10-0. The deck is still broken. I love it. Wow. No feedback. The deck certainly felt better with the 4th copy of Rowan's Grim Search in it. I will say that. Thank you to Leon Bayer Stoltenberg for the donation deck. I really do appreciate it. Once again, if you're interested in the sideboard guide, it is over at theepicstorm.com/shop. Let me know what you think of the updated list and what you thought of the league in the comment section down below. Really, thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and as always, keep storming. That Bryant Cook, he just went 5-0, undefeated, and got a trophy. And if you want to be like him, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. That way you're always up to date on the latest and greatest technology. Another way that you can get better, joining our Discord, where you can talk about today's video with other like-minded individuals that are looking to improve their game. Thanks for watching.